can go beyond him. I just read everything he wrote, and I read a lot of the black poets, the old black poets from way back, like Sterling Williams, Richard Wright, a lot of those folks, James Baldwin, a lot of old black writers. They can get me in the book, and I won't leave. I'm ready. That's my inspiration from them. I used to be in a band when I was in high school, all from the 8th grade all the way up to till I graduated from high school. I was in a band. I either wanted to sing, but I couldn't sing. My music teacher says, "Gee, I couldn't sing," but I was in a band, but I played the bass drum. So when they formed the rock and roll band, there wasn't no need for a bass drum, just a bass drum player. And I could play the snare, but I wasn't as good as the real snare my friend Red Boy, which he was really good. And I always wanted to be on that stage, so I love music. And like I say, I couldn't sing, and I always thought about getting me a band, a bass drum, and just start me a brass band. But there was no brass band in Vacherie, so I had to stick with the storytelling and the performance stuff. I know I was in a play once, and this lady, the director said, she heard me sing, she said, "You have to mouth the part." And she went to Europe, and this other director took over, music director took over, and he said, "Well, ain't no such thing as tone deaf." He said, "Everybody can sing." When he said that, I said, "Hell, we ever sing?" I started singing. She came back from Europe, this band director, and looked at me and said, "Wow, we was watching a video of the show." And she said, "Wow, you the best mouther I know." I said, "Mouth my ass." I was singing. Well, I do sing, I sing. Well, I don't class myself as a singer. That's something I see a lot of poets get on the stage and embarrass themselves singing. Please don't sing. Some people are not supposed to sing, really. Yeah, growth better happen soon. Like I get this book out, but I haven't been writing for a few months now. Just bitten here and there. But when in writing, as soon as I sit down and start doing, it's gonna come. But just to sit there and do it, to make up my mind, to sit there and write is one of the hardest things I can do. Especially if I don't know, if I get all the way broke, then I ain't good. Poets don't need no money because you get lazy, and that's been my problem. I've been lazy. But I notice when I do start writing that my writing do come back. So. Well, I got some too painful, but I hate to do it myself. I do it for therapy sometimes. I don't really go too deep, not too dark. Well, well, they've taken me all over the United States. I've been just about everywhere: Chicago, New York, all of Texas, Vancouver. It wasn't for these poems, a lot of places I would never be heard, and it gave me an outlet to express some of the feelings I have, and they really do me good inside. I feel good after a performance, but I feel even better when I write a piece. I get a better feeling than even getting on stage performing that piece. So I get great gratitude of just coming up with a piece, just because, as a poet, you never know if you got another poem in you. Do you have another poem? Another winner, at least. Anybody can write a poem. Do I have another winner in me? And when I do get a piece, I feel so grateful, so good about it. It's one of the greatest highs I know. Poetry Slam been wonderful to me. Without Poetry Slam, I would have never written as much stuff as I have. Because like I say, you'd always need a winner. In order to win slams, A lot of people talk about poetry. Slam is not poetry, but you don't. If you don't have no good poetry, you don't win a slam. And good poems win slams, and poetry slams kept me writing for a lot of years because I always wanted to be fresh. You keep you fresh on the fresh side. You always want that next winner, that next hit. So poetry slam been great to me. It brought me all over. And I'm still okay with slam, to tell you the truth. I'm still okay with slam. It's changed in a way because you got different people coming in. You have different age group. You have different philosophies. But, it's changed. But it's about the poetry. And I would advise anybody to take a chance at slam. Because one thing it will do is keep you writing. It'll keep you fresh. Because I'm not in that generation. You see, I might be this age, but I didn't start writing until 1995. So it's a lot of poets that in slam, and they started writing around the same time that I did. And you're only writing for one audience. So the audience I'm writing for is in that age bracket. I can't go to a venue perform for people 25 to 35 years old and perform with an old mind. I got to have something for them. That's something that they're going to appreciate, something going to make them happy, So I don't get that stuff about these. I think it's not the age, it's the overeducated people that don't think slam is what it's supposed to be. It's poetry. That's what I would class them in, the overeducated bunch of people, not the older people. Yeah, I see a difference. It's harder to understand, for one thing. It's harder to understand, and it's, the work is good, too, on the page, because I want my stuff to stand on the page as well as on the stage. So I love, all kind of poetry, I think. But you got a different setting, like I would call it the New York Times type, New Yorker type of poems, That's a lot of times you read something in the New Yorker, what the hell are they talking about? But those are the overeducated people. No, indeed, I wish. Bad strategy. I don't know nothing about strategy. I love having a coach, man. I love having a coach when I'm on a slam team, Perfect example was Charles Ehrlich. He was a hell of a coach, I won many championships with him, but he knew where to place me, the strategy. I can't confess to knowing nothing about strategy at all. Not really. Sometimes I see a crowd, I know I can blow away. But, slam is just what it is. It's poetry slam. It's by the judge and the audience. What the judges know, they're just a member of the audience. So if you lose a slam, you don't even look at it as, a loss. Some people take it hard, but I could never take a slam hard because I know it's just a slam. I felt like that at one time, that I couldn't lose. After my first team making national, the next year I thought I was so hot I wasn't going to never lose. And that year, that's 1999, I didn't even make a team. But everybody who beat me, at least they won the slam, San Francisco and Oakland. Won and tied San Jose. I tried out for all those teams and couldn't make it. But they won national, so I don't feel too bad that they beat me. But slam will humble you. It will humble you if you think you're that good. Just get out there and give it a try. You can feel the difference. Yeah, it's changed me a lot. It made me want to go to school. Yeah, I knew I wanted to do so. I wanted to write. I wanted to talk. If you hear how I know you've been talking to my friend over there at Pickle, you hear his accent, how he talk. When I went to California, I couldn't talk, but I wanted to be on radio. The hardest job in the world for somebody talking is to be on radio. With the voice, my diction I had. Because, my folks was Creole, so they only conversed in Creole. And when they talk, it was this, that, duh, and it wasn't no, come here, not come here. It wasn't no there, your dad. And I had that in me so bad, so it took a lot of college, a lot of reading out aloud to get, where I got to. And I did make it to radio. I did get a job in radio, so I did radio in San Francisco for like 17 years. I made it on the air. But it took a lot of school, a lot of rehearsal, a lot of reading out aloud. Well, it influenced me a lot. I could never see myself having lived my life after working on the plantations and living out here in Vacherie. I would have been crazy. The Bay Area just offered me so much more to do, so many more places to go, stuff to do, things to see, different cultures. I only had one way out here in Vacherie. All the time, it was in my mind since I was young, I'm going to go, I'm going to find my daddy. And I did find him. It was too late, he had passed away. But I found out who he was and got to know my brother. So I did exactly my grandmother used to, when I used to ask her about, will I ever find my dad? And she said, God